Hello, students. Today we're going to be making the Statue of Liberty. Follow along with me. The first thing that you're going to need to do is put your name on the back of your paper. Be sure to include your teacher code as well. Once you're done with that step, flip your paper over. We're going to begin by drawing a U on the center of your paper. Be sure not to draw your objects too large. This is the head of the Statue of Liberty. Then we're going to create a small arch across the top of the head. Then go ahead and add in some bangs. It should look something like this. Next, we're going to add in the face, starting out with those almond-shaped eyes. Once you've done your eyes, add a circle on the inside of each eye. I made sure that the circle is touching the top and the bottom of the almond shape. Then we're going to begin to draw an eyebrow, and it's going to come down to form the nose as well. And then add in your second eyebrow. The mouth, we're going to begin by drawing a straight line. And for the top lip, we're going to create 2 bumps. And for the bottom lip, it's just going to be a curved line. Now let's work on her crown. We're going to create another curved shaped line on the top of her head. And on the inside of that curve, we'll create some arches, starting in the center and then moving your way to the ends. You'll notice that the arches will get slightly smaller as you move further to the edge. Now we're going to draw the points. Starting at the center, once again, we're going to come up and back down. Keep in mind that these are fairly thin. If you make them too thick, it might look a little silly. Or if you draw them too short, it might look a little silly as well. So make them long and skinny. Now let's add in the neck. Now we're going to begin to draw her clothes, starting with a curved line underneath of the neck and then adding a circle. Now we're going to go ahead and add in her hair. Just watch me first and then you can go after me. I'm creating areas and strands of hair coming down from the top, and be sure to try to keep them fairly level on both sides. Now you can go ahead and do it. The Statue of Liberty has one arm that stretches up towards the sky. Let's begin to draw the sleeve for this side, creating a J shape here. Next, we're going to draw a line on the right side of her body and drag it down. This is going to be a part of her clothing. There's a slight curve at the top. Now we're going to finish up her sleeve, creating some bumps in the fabric to make it look more realistic. Pulling it down, and notice that I pulled that line longer than the other line. That is so it can create this sort of angle. Let's go ahead and move on to adding the arm that stretches up with the torch in her hand. Creating a slight angle, stretch it up towards the sky. If you have your points in the way, just make sure to erase some of the points because this part would be in front. Make sure to close off that sleeve if your arm is not connected, and think of your proportions. Does it look proportionate to the size of the body and the head? We're going to begin to make the bottom of the torch, so creating a V shape, and then a curved line on top of that. I went ahead and extended the lines out slightly and drawing some vertical lines up and another curved line. So it should look something kind of like a waffle cone or an ice cream cone at this time. Now on top of that structure, we're going to create some bumps. That's just to add to this design. Let me zoom in just a little bit so you can see this slightly better. We're going to create a flame, and by doing some points and using some curved organic lines, something like this. It does not have to look just like mine. Just try to make it look somewhat like a flame. And this part can be a little challenging. We're going to create a hand wrapping around this, and the only way that we can do that is by erasing a little bit of that cone shape at the bottom, creating a curved line for part of the hand, and then pulling around 4 fingers. And then on the other side, we're going to draw in a thumb coming around. Now that we have those details completed, we're ready to continue on the clothing. We're going to bring down the lines further towards the bottom of the page. And let's go ahead and add in the book in her hand, the tablet. And this is going to be angled in something like this. And to make it appear as if she's holding on to it, we're going to erase part of that line to draw in her fingers wrapping around the tablet. But it's important that we add in her arm to make it also appear as if her arm is stretching down as well. Now we're going to create the foot that sticks out at the bottom of the the dress area, the clothing, and we're gonna try to keep that lined up with the bottom of the skirt, where you kind of ended your lines. And by doing this, we're gonna create 2 arched lines as if it's like a pair of sandals. And then we're gonna create some circles that kind of appear to be the toes, as if you were looking at them straight on, as if they were flat on the ground. And if you can't fit all 5, that's okay. Maybe all 5 just aren't visible in the shoe itself. And then creating a base on that. My poor camera skills, I did not realize that I was out of view for the rest of this drawing. So currently what I'm doing is I am finishing off the bottom of the clothing and then creating a base for Lady Liberty to be sitting on, and I can draw that on the board for you so that you can see how to do that. So please direct your attention to the board and I will gladly show you how to do those steps. Now that we have the main structures drawn, we're just going to go in and add some details like the folds and creasing on the fabric here in the arm and across the body, starting at the top with that circle, and it's just going to cross across the body in a curved motion. And then we're also going to move to the bottom of the body and create these lines coming down to the base of the clothing. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of detailing on the hair here that I missed some lines that could have been added. Now that we have that completed, we can work on the background, and this part there's a lot of flexibility for you to work. Everybody will need to start out with a horizontal line, and then using this handout you can use some of these details, or you can come up with your own to create either design that you would like. One of them has tree line and bushes across the entire thing. I decided just to do some sporadic trees, just random, and then I'm gonna go in and add my buildings, and I went from the handout. So if you're struggling to come up with your own, you can use the handout, or if you want to totally go your own route and do that, I say go for it. The best tip for creating your buildings is to start out with some vertical lines. That's going to help kind of give that effect that they are really close together and they're touching or overlapping, and then creating the tops. And you can design these however you would like. Like you said, I'm going off of the handout, but you can come up with your own style of buildings. This is how mine turned out. Once you've completed that, then you can go in and start adding your boats into the water area. And again, you can go off the handout or you can make up your own. Either is fine with me. Just be sure to kind of add in some rippling effects to make it look like water. Mine turned out something like this. Now that I've completely finished my drawing, I can go in with a Sharpie and trace all of my lines. Please take your time to fill in all of your lines. And once you have finished filling in your lines, make sure that you go in with an eraser and erase those extra areas that have pencil showing. It's really just going to give your picture a really nice finished look. We are going to be using these color sticks by Crayola, and the color sticks are basically just color pencils but without the pencil part, the wooden part, which is really cool because then you don't have to sharpen them or anything. We're going to begin by drawing or coloring in Lady Liberty with a green tone. It should look something like this once you've completed. And then once you've got her colored, you're going to go in with some yellow to fill in the torch area to create that kind of golden color. And then we're going to take a blue and we're going to layer on top of the green tone because it is more of a kind of bluish green color. And it should look something like this once you've finished. Once you finish filling that in, we're going to go in with the white, and that's just going to help lighten it up and blend that color a little bit better. Try to color up as much as you can. You're going to notice a little bit of a difference or blending in your colors. If you can notice from mine, it is lightening it a little bit. And once you finish that step, the rest of this is completely up to you, how you might want to color your page. I just ask that you color with your really, really good coloring skills. Something else that I might want to show you is how I'm kind of doing the sky, and you can color your sky however you want, but if you liked the way the effect of mine was, I just turned the color stick to the side and kind of colored that in to give it a different texture. And you can do this on your sky, or if you kind of want it in the water, that's totally up to you. But if you want to get a scrap piece of paper or like a free draw paper or something like that so that you don't color all over the table, that might be a good idea. That's kind of what I'm doing here, and that just kind of helps make sure that I'm not coloring all over the tables. And this is just my own style, so if you want to utilize this, you can, but I like to add a lot of variation in color, so I'm going to use a white to kind of add in some more detail. But if I hadn't mentioned earlier, we should have signed our name with a Sharpie when we traced with Sharpie, so hopefully we did do that. Hope you enjoy this project.